Good evening, everyone. Evening weather report for Wednesday, August 11th. We are in the midst of this heat wave that is just dogging us, and it will essentially remain unchanged for the next couple of days. Through Friday, heat index values 100 to 108. The heat warning is in effect for most of the Ozarks. Cool front on Saturday, part of a couple of systems that will be supplying cooler air to the northern plains, and we're going to be the recipients of at least one, if not two, of those weather systems, so it looks pretty good for next week, starting Sunday especially. Here's the U.S. weather map. Fronts moved into the northeast. There's a little bit of a surge of showers and thunderstorms in Ohio, south of that boundary. Yesterday's map showed that up over Iowa and Illinois, and there was a thunderstorm complex in Iowa, and now that's kind of all shifted northeast. There is, again, a lack of any strong weather systems on this map, not surprising for summer. That tropical depression has been downgraded now to just a big area of showers, and it's just a big low-pressure center that ultimately will bring, I think, beneficial rains to parts of the extreme southern U.S. Here's the surface map tonight. Dew point over Nebraska, Broken Bow, 57, but 95 the temperature. But the air is drier out there, and it's a sign that jet stream is starting to change a little bit. It just needs to start pushing that our way. Meanwhile, we sit with Raleigh at 96 over 74, and we are just baking. Visible satellite loop tonight is kind of fascinating. Look at those storms northeast of Springfield and the shadow they're casting. Tops of those storms are casting shadows almost all the way to the north of Raleigh. Very interesting. And like the last couple of days, some of these storms have been popping up in various locations. A lot of them are on the outflow boundaries of yesterday's storms because there's really no wind of any consequence in the atmosphere to flush these out as they stick around for the next day and help to fire additional storms. Speaking of additional storms, we had some up around just west of Kansas City too. We had severe thunderstorm warnings with them for a time. I doubt any of the storms this evening have that left in them. The heat index, this was at 5 o'clock. Was at 107 in Raleigh, 108 at Lake of the Ozarks, so a very dangerous condition. Thankfully, the dew points have backed off in some areas, but still, this is just an oppressive heat situation with an excessive heat warning for just about everybody here in the Ozarks, or if you're not under that, heat advisory. Really, the difference is just where your heat index ends up any given day, and it could change from place to place, just depending on your dew point and your temperature. Here's the national satellite loop. The changes in the northwestern U.S. are all wrapped up in that spinning you see there over Idaho. That's a cool air pool aloft. Another surge behind is, so there seems to be a lot of evidence tonight to support troughs of low pressure entering the northern plains and sending fronts down along. For instance, here's this forecast map for 7 a.m. Saturday. Here comes the front to Kansas City. Some debate about how hot we'll get Saturday pre-front. I've still got us in the low 90s. Some of the computer models want to take that away and go crazy again on that day. We'll see. It depends on how many thunderstorms form along that front, outflow boundaries, that type of thing. But it moves through, I think, Saturday night because there it is Sunday morning, and then Monday morning it's hung up in northern Arkansas. Be some rain behind that, but cooler temperature, that's a big old high there. And there's another front swinging in behind that you can see up there in the western part of Canada, so that looks good. So the hot weather for 2 more days. Saturday, a big question mark again. I circled that. What's that going to do there? I think I would probably go on the side of lower 90s. The weekend front is obvious. Lower 60s are possible in the Ozarks, even some upper 50s once we get some finer detailed resolution on this approaching storm. And the computers are starting to pick up on weekend rainfall now with a pretty good agreement on a Saturday late to Sunday early scenario, although one computer model goes crazy with rain. That's the GFS run. Beginning, almost dawn Sunday morning and going through the morning hours. And another little spike of rain, probably along the northern part of that stall front Tuesday. So there are some rain chances. Are they going to be fair to everyone? Kind of hard to say at this point. The QPF for the whole U.S. quantitative precipitation forecast shows the tropical depression rain and, of course, rain in northern Iowa. And hopefully we'll get some of that. Not all of it. As I said, that's no longer a tropical depression. It's just a big old low. Other areas of concern in the central Atlantic are lesser concern than they were yesterday. Still waiting on the 4th named storm, which would be Danielle. And one last look now at the 500 millibar movement. I just want you to notice the hot air bubble breaks down. Shortwave troughs, these are where the black lines dip down and are accompanied by green and yellow or even red little speed maximums, are what send fronts through. So we got several of these kind of moving around each other and supporting each other into most of next week. So this looks very favorable for us for an extended period of cooler weather. You guys have a great evening. Talk to you tomorrow.